Yo, 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 it's X. And today, there's no Crizzo today. I gotta say that. RIP Crizzo. Crizzo's still alive, everybody. I got my boy Cory. How are you doing, Cory?
Doing good. How's everyone else doing?
They'll let you know. And today we got our boy Fairplay, man. We love our boy Fairplay. He's gearing up for a fight on the 29th of January. Whenever you're watching this, this January 29th, 2022. He's actually going into MMA, mixed martial arts. Fairplay is known for his boxing skills, but he's getting into the MMA realm. He's been hey, Fairplay, how long have you been, officially professional now? Because last time we talked to you, you were, gearing up to become a professional fighter.
I say officially not. I'm still technically amateur until I get into that. But technically, I've been a pro for 2 months. So.
All right. So yeah, Fairplay. How you been, man? How you been?
Oh, I've been busy in a good way. Things have been well. Just a lot of moving parts that you can't slack on, Training.
I definitely know that. Yeah.
Family, all that.
So what type of have you been in any fights within the last 2 months? Like have they been I know we were promoting a boxing match prior to last time we talked to you. Have you done any more boxing? Have you been doing any more, fights just around the country, or have you just been chilling in New Jersey?
I've been pretty stagnant, but you're right. I did do that boxing match. It's King Walks Boxing, KWBL. They just started a small league. It's like white collar boxing, It's amateur based. You wear your headgear. You have a certain amount of rounds. Depending on the bout, you won't wear headgear, but it's like amateur regulated, And they're actually fighting for a title February for them, but at the same time, I might vacate it because I'm going to be going pro for boxing too. So,
word. Since we've seen you last, Cory and myself have been going through a Rocky binge. So we've very much enjoyed the films of Rocky. I've never seen like all of them. I've probably seen maybe one of them. I know I've seen Creed, but it's gotten me to think more about fighting and how the aspect of fighting. I know we talked about it in our last podcast, but how fighting, relates to life. What do you think about that like concept? Like, Rocky's gone through so much adversity and everything, and then he was able to, take all those punches and all that because he's been knocked out by life, So, what are your thoughts on that? I know that's random, but
it makes sense. I mean, it's tough. You can relate a lot of fighting to your actual life. It's just it depends on the type of person you are. Like, you see the best athletes in the world. 20 years ago, they were on the streets. Some were living in cardboard boxes, Like Mike Tyson, what was he before he met Cus D'Amato? He was a juvenile in the city. And then Cus pulled him out and made him the greatest thing in the world, because the thing with people in poverty, in my opinion, people in poverty have this grit that people that are given a silver spoon or a gold spoon in their entire life won't understand. Like Bernard Hopkins said it perfectly. Like he fought his entire life on the streets. So doing it for money was easy because he even felt it with his opponents. Like, he goes the extra round. He gives the same pace because he's used to that feeling. He's used to fighting for his life. While even though this is a regulated sport and your chances of dying are really small, a white collar guy that had everything given to him won't have that same feeling because he doesn't know what grit is. He doesn't know what fear is because he was always given everything to him growing up. So he never had to face that adversary. So when you face it in the ring, it'll break you compared to someone else that had less than you. They'll fight you like a savage animal.
Right. It's like they got nothing to lose. So it's like, hey, we sending it, I love to hear your insight on that. Like, I think a lot of times I know because I know you know a lot of you know a great history about like a lot of different fighters and stuff like that. So I love hearing when you talk about people's backgrounds, fighters' backgrounds and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I think that's just such an interesting thing. Like, I don't think in any other sport. I mean, I guess in other sports, like you're gonna have that that certain type of hustle, that certain type of grind. I know a lot of people overuse that, but in boxing, I feel like it's just like as straight as can be. It's like you're fighting, like you know what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you could be really nice in basketball and still have that grind, still have that pressure. You know what I'm saying? But in
And
fighting,
also, it's one-on-one too,
yeah,
because it's you and the other person. There's no other competition. It's just all you. And like with any other sport, one of your biggest opponents is yourself also. Because that pushing past your limits, that's what you were saying earlier, is going to be a lot easier with someone who was born in poverty over someone who wasn't.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, also, I get you can say because when you're fighting, it's weird. Or not even fighting, just any sport in general. You think of things that motivate you. Like a lot of fighters and a lot of sports practitioners and athletes, like when they're in a competition, you think like 10 different things in your head. Like my first track meet, I was so concerned about disappointing my coach, I went the extra mile and was able to get first place. It's little things like that. Like if you have to find that motivator, you get what I'm saying? Because if you don't have that motivator, you probably won't get that extra kick to perform better. Like same as like my second amateur fight. I went from 210 to 168, but I didn't have the thought process of like, oh, I have to get in this fight. I'm on my own. Like people invested in me. I don't. It's not about me anymore. So it would be selfish to miss weight. That in my head, that's what I think.
right.
So I'm suffering. I'm not suffering for me. I'm suffering because I owe it to the fans. I owe it to my training camp, and I owe it to my coaches. And especially when I had nothing. Like I tell you, it was so bad that I could smell what my neighbor cooked 2 days ago. That's how heightened my senses were. Like it was bad.
Right.
So I got in his ring and I gave it to this guy because like I didn't sacrifice you. Like in my head, I'm like, you're the reason why I'm like this. You're the reason why I'm hurting like this. So I didn't sacrifice and come all this way just to lose. So he'd have to kill me if he wanted to win, basically,
Right. So I got a question about that. Do you cut healthy? Would someone if someone was like, oh, that, a lot of people say like cutting is like either you do it like the healthy way or you do it like, they'll say like it's an extreme. What would you say? Would you say you did it like, was it unhealthy? Was it an unhealthy cut or was it healthy? Because I feel like that's such a drastic, that's a drastic shift in weight.
Well, like, I'm not trashing the nutritionists and the science behind it, but at the end of the day, your body type will give you that handicap. Like I was healthy when I first started. I was doing amazing. I was just like, all right, chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, good, or chicken and rice and peas. Eat that and just water the entire week. Lost 5 pounds. Next week, 10 pounds. Then your body just stops. It just holds on to everything and stops. So then I switched to, all right, it'll just cut out the meat, just rice or mashed potatoes and water. Lost 2 pounds. Fight week comes up. Okay, I'm still 10 pounds over and this weight won't leave. So it was just water for 3 days. Lost 5 pounds. And then I had the starvation diet, no water, no food for 2 days up until fight day. So like I'll starve myself 2 days straight with no water either. And I lost 7 pounds. I was able to hit 168.5, which was because the thing is, when it comes to, you can healthily lose weight, but then there's a point to where your body's just going to make a set metabolism, like cruise control. It's not going to let you lose anything after that, because in my mind, I know it's not my last meal, but my subconscious, every meal is my last meal because it doesn't know when I'm going to eat again. So it's going to hold on to everything. So eventually, especially with fighters, they've been talking about in UFC that they might just get rid of like certain regulations with weight. Like if your walk around weight is 200, you're fighting middleweight. You're not cutting all the way down to like featherweight.
Right.
You know, because to get to these weight classes, you have to starve yourself. There's no way to naturally or healthily lose this weight because your body will make you hold it. Your body's like, oh, we can't lose this muscle. Use everything else you got. And then you're sitting here like, I haven't eaten anything like 2 fucking days. And I only lost 2 pounds. You know, it sucks. Like you'll see it. If you guys know as athletes, especially with wrestlers too, like you drink all this water, you don't eat any food, and your body just holds on to it. Like you'll lose weight phenomenally the first week, and then the second week it just holds on to it. Sucks.
Man.
So yeah, there's science behind it, but at the end of the day, if you go past that threshold, you have to starve yourself. No matter who it is, no matter your body type, you have to starve yourself. So.
Word. Cory, you got anything?
Yeah. I was just about to say, I remember in high school, I had like a couple friends in wrestling, and I remember first hearing the stories about them losing weight and how much weight they lost in just like a day or two, because they would, like you said, starve themselves, and like the whole team would just be on treadmill, just going to the yak. And I was like blown away, like, wow. And he was like saying he lost like 5 pounds in a day, or like 5-10 pounds a day. I'm like, God damn, man. Because that's like no joke. Once you got to make, on the crew team, I remember one of our teammates our coaches were making sure he was lightweight, and he was eating cookies on on the bus, and she ran all the way down the bus, snatched that cookie out of his hand. It was funny, man, but it's crazy how intense you got to be to really get that weight, because you can't lose it any other way else.
Yeah, and one thing that's weird, I'm just kind of giving you insight, fair play on the sport of rowing, is they're starting to take it away though now. But originally, like there was lightweight rowing, and then there's heavyweight rowing. So heavyweight, I think, is after 165 or something like that, and lightweight was like 165. And there are 2 separate categories, and they raced in different classes. And then I don't know, nowadays they're kind of like getting rid of it. So now it's just kind of like, you are where you're at. So there's a different standard for lightweights. And I mean, there's still universities that have it. Like it's really like the prestigious universities. But yeah, we understand that whole aspect as well, relating with you. And yeah, that's pretty much. Cory, were you going to say something else? My bad.
Oh, no, you didn't cut me off.
I do want to ask you a question about, I think we talked about it from the last interview, but I want to ask you again. What are your thoughts on, this new like celebrity fighting where it's like, I guess the best people I could describe is like, the Jake Pauls or the Logan Pauls, or, even like basketball players fight now. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's helping grow fighting again? Like, do you think it's helping, or do you think it's making a mockery or to, no, I'm not even calling them real because they are really boxing, but what are your thoughts on that?
Now, if you asked me that like a year ago, I would give you the same answer everyone gives you, but I might take a little while. This might be a rant, but the thing is, sorry.
No, it's fine.
No, we love rants.
Thanks, man. But Jake Paul and Logan Paul, and especially the celebrity boxing in general, it kind of fuels fighters, to do more, because like to work harder. Because first of all, yeah, it's a money fight. You're getting a lot of money fighting these guys. Like these guys aren't even like big names. They're big names somewhere else, but they're not big names in the fight club, the fight world. But if you get that fight, you're going to get a lot of money. That's greed motivates them, but also respect motivates a lot of other people, because each group takes disrespect out of it. Like you're talking about some kid that's just rich is gonna jump in and then is schooling all these other guys. These guys that have freaking that bled and sacrificed years out of their life to become something great, and you're just gonna thrash him. You know, like Ben Askren's net worth went down when he lost to Jake Paul. Tyron Woodley's went down twice when he fought Jake Paul. Like, and what gets me about these older athletes though is when you get good money, you stop being hungry. You know?
Yeah.
Like you forget where you came from. You forget what you sacrificed to get to where you are now. Like money corrupts, and money basically rules the world, sadly. Like you don't see people with grit anymore going up in the height that they did. I will say Mayweather and Pacquiao was probably one of the last guys that still stayed the same they were. Like, yeah, Floyd made his money and he got greedy, but every training camp he trained like it was his first day in the Olympics. He always trained hard. He never slacked off. Like even tomato cans he fought, he still trained hard for. Just because there's puncher's chance you can get hits. You know?
Yeah.
The thing with Jake Paul and Logan Paul that kind of fuels a lot of blue collar fighters. Like, sadly, it's going to take a blue collar to knock one of these guys out. It's not going to take a white collar. Like Tyson, he's still the same. Tyson still has the same mindset as he did when he was going up in the ranks. Yeah, he's a little more rowdy. He does a lot of trash talking, has a dirty mouth at times, but Tyson doesn't let money, persuade him to do anything. Like even Roy Jones, when he fought Roy Jones, he was still trying to kill him. Like, right. Yeah, he pulled some of his punches, but he's still moving like he was trying to kill him. Because at the same time, he's from the streets. He knows where he came from. He's not going to let money corrupt the way his personality is. So it's going to take a blue collar fighter to knock one of these guys out. Like Ben Askren is not a striker. He took it for the money. We all know he took it for the money. Tyron Woodley, I don't care what anyone says. Like, you can say that the fight was fixed. You can say that he purposely let his hands down. But when someone basically gives you a gift prior to your fight, your anger for them will always decrease. You're like, well, this guy gave me a Rolex watch. I can't really be mad at him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, y'all can be talking all this shit, and then he gives you a Rolex watch. That watch could have probably paid for my house. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's nuts.
So money corrupts. Like, maybe that was his goal. Maybe that was Jake Paul's goal. Kill him with a little kindness at the very end, and then he won't come in with the same amount of hatred he has.
I feel you on that. Hey, now I'm looking at him. I've been watching too much Rocky. I'm thinking like, all right, hey, Fairplay is gonna be the Rocky. He gonna knock Jake Paul.
Man, Jake Paul will never fight me, honestly. Like, for two reasons. One, I'm not popular enough, and two, he doesn't want to fight someone his own size. He will never fight someone his level.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100%. This is just me going in my head, like, I got movies going on in my head all the time. Fair play.
No, I trust you. Like, I'm telling you, the guy that knocks either Paul brother out is going to be talked about for the next 5 years.
What are your thoughts about some of the undercard? The reason why I do ask this question too, the reason why I asked the question in general, I saw this thing where, there was this woman fighter who was like, I guess she was pretty nice or whatever, and she never really got paid or whatever until she was like an undercard for one of them. Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yeah, I know. She was the co-main event.
The co-main event. Yeah. So, like, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that they can help? I guess my question is, do you think they help bring more viewership to the sport of boxing, or bring more viewership? Or, like, it'll see, like, some of those talents could translate, like, they could translate the viewers who just watch it for the celebrity. You think those viewers could go on to really watch, like, real boxing?
Well, I'll tell you the problem with that. The problem is corruption, for one, and it's kind of like teams, you don't want to join or merge teams. Like, right. It's kind of the same as politics. Oh, since you're a Democrat, I can't like you. Oh, since you're a Republican, I can't like you. Like, if we all merge together and use all our good ideas and put them together, we can make things work. But the thing is, you have different commissions that don't want to merge because they feel they have more jurisdiction over another.
Okay.
For example, the Celebrity Boxing Commission could never merge with the WBC because the WBC feels that they're like they have more stature than them. It's like, oh, you've only been in for 3 years. We've been in for like 60. What do you know about boxing? You know, they would never merge. So like, it's always about your team. Like if you don't, everyone has this chip on their shoulder. So that's why the same as belts. Belts fucking suck because they're owned by different commissions. WBC, WBA, IBF. They will never merge. You can't merge and unify a belt because like 100 years ago, there was only one belt.
Right.
Now, because everyone wants to dab their hands in the pot, there's like 8 different belts. And you have to pay sanction fees for these belts because no one wants to merge together. Because if they merge together, fighters are making a lot of more money.
Right.
But they divvy it up and they have all these different teams because like, oh, now you have to fight the Oriental specific belt holder. Oh, now you have to fight the national belt holder. You know, it's ridiculous. Instead of being the best in the world, you're only the best in a region. So that's the only reason why it would never work out, because there's arrogance and there's corruption. If people work together and everyone did merge, it would be a lot more easier. You would have a lot more legit champions and a lot more recognized champions. Like you'll see, if you look at the lineage of fighters from the I would even say the 1910s all the way up to now, there's probably only 1, maybe 2 belts until you hit the 50s. And then when you hit the 60s, there's like 3. And then once you hit the 2000s, there's like 7 or 8. Like, where the hell did these guys come from? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, no, and that I always wonder about that. So I'm like, I thought it was like based off of states, or I wasn't sure. Like, so yeah, that's really interesting. Corey, you got anything?
Yeah, you think that it could ever revert back to a smaller, or not smaller, but like having like less belts again? You think that it could ever happen again?
It all depends on who's in charge. All depends on who's in charge. Like, I'm not saying never say never, but it's like a 1% chance. You got greedy, corrupt officials, which I don't care. You could be the most honest guy in the world, but everyone has a little corruption in them, you know? Like, someone would never throw away a whole legacy to merge with someone else. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
that happens. That's a pattern that happens in a lot of different areas in the world today. Like entertainment, like you're talking about entertainment that goes with like big business. I mean, pretty much that, like sales.
Yeah, because you're talking about this guy that, like, I put all this effort to get to the top just to merge and become a vice president again. No, I'm not doing that. I'm staying on the top. Things like that, you know? You just need a lot of modest people to get on top. And sadly, if one modest person makes it, the other 2 aren't going to want to do it because they're going to have that chip on their shoulder.
Right.
I said every president of these commissions just said, hey, guys, let's just get together and work this out. They all have to be modest. For that to happen, they all have to be modest. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, if only it was that easy.
Yeah, right? It's good. It looks good on paper, but actually happening is possible.
So Fairplay, we talked about some of your, favorite fighters of all time, and I loved your insight on it. I think I repeated that earlier in this, update. But are there, you want to like inform us on any other fighters, maybe some unsung fighters, maybe some fighters that you just know like offhand that like I don't think most people would know? Do you have any other like, hidden gems? I guess I'll put it like that.
You guys keep on giving me questions with that. I feel like I'm hogging all the freaking airtime here because you ask me these good questions.
Hey, no, this is what it's for. This is exactly what it's for.
No, I mean, there's a lot of fighters that people don't really remember, but because it sucks, because boxing is probably one of the oldest, other than wrestling, it's probably one of the oldest combative sports, you know? So these the fighters that have like 200 fights, 100 fights, kind of gets swept away because you got these new prodigies coming up. But modernly, there's a lot of guys I like. There's Mayweather just left. Pacquiao, he retired. Now I like Vasily. I like Jorge Linares. He's good. The guy that just won the title against Teofimo Lopez, Cambosa, he's pretty freaking good. I like him. But no, a lot of old guys that people never heard of. I like Jack Johnson. I like Jim Jeffries that lost to him to get the title.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't remember him either. Willie Pep, he was a good one. Ezzard Charles, that's where James Toney got his shoulder roll, and that's where Floyd Mayweather perfected it. He started the shoulder roll. No one really remember the shoulder roll because Ezzard Charles is one that made the idea. And then James Toney would watch his old fights. That's why no one could always hit James Toney. And then Floyd and Roger, his father, ended up adopting the Philly shell off of that technique. Like a lot of people don't remember that, but that's really the main reason. You're talking about a technique from 70 years ago. It's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You think like taking inspiration from like, older fighters, do a lot of other fighters do that, or is that like commonplace or is that like uncommon?
No. Like I'll be it's very uncommon. I'm gonna be honest with you, and probably giving up my secrets for my fights now, but
Let's not do that.
no, it's perfectly fine because explaining it, people still don't see it. So my old style of fighting, people find unpredictable because everyone threw away the old textbook style. Now everything's about modern day fighting, and it's kind of recycling itself. You'll see the era of recycling. People are going to start using old tactics again because it's working against the guys that are fighting modernly that forgot about them. Like I was in training camp striking the other day, and I used the old textbook rolling the fists, but I don't telegraph it, but like I do it in a sense of feints, and just the style looks unpredictable. Like you don't know when I'm going to strike or what I'm going to strike. And people are saying like, I've never seen that before. What's that? It's like, oh, that's a style that's been used 100 years ago. And I've done it against pro boxers, and I keep catching them with it because they've never seen it before. Because a lot of these camps thinking it's always about this style, but they forget about the roots of it. Like I tell you, I was fighting like a 1910s boxer, and I was landing punches.
That's dope. So like, do you like have in the back of your head like modern and past skills to like keep yourself unpredictable? Is that like your main goal, to stay unpredictable in the ring?
Yeah, that's my main goal. Because I'll tell you when it comes to the type of fighting I do, I don't fight on like technique is very important. Technique is extremely important. Endurance is extremely important, but I don't fight based on doing steps by steps and staying technical all the time. Like my style is very whimsidaisical, like I'm a jack of all trades, but I'm not a master of anything, Like I'll take little snippets of what everyone else has and merge together into a more practical version. So like, I know what a basic jab looks like, but now I'm doing a jab in my style to make up for what an actual jab is supposed to be, because everyone knows what a jab is and you see it coming. But if I throw a jab in an awkward way, though it might be slightly slower, it'll catch you because you've never seen it before. Like if you look at my fight with Showtime, you can see that. Like my jab is very unorthodox. My peekaboo style, no one uses anymore. Like everyone uses the modern version of it, but the fact that my hands are tilted in, you can't see my jab. My hands are like this. You can see my jab because you'll see my shoulder move.
Right.
That's why Tyson was able to catch a lot of people, because he had his face in. He had his thumbs in. Like even trainers, like his trainer would have him fight with his thumbs in his mouth so he can keep his hands up like that.
Interesting. That is really fascinating. Like honestly, my question to you is, So how does this work with the MMA? And we'll talk about this. You once again, you got to fight January 29th, 2022. What are your thoughts about it, and how did you get into it? Like, yeah, I mean, that's the real question.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. The thing is, with the guy I'm fighting, he has a lot of he has experience. I think he has 4 MMA fights, 3 wins, 1 loss, and he has skill and he has experience. But he's in Virginia too. But the thing is, no one else wanted to fight this guy, and win or lose, I want to come out because I know I owe the fans this fight. I've been fighting for a while, and I feel like I've been getting so much retinue for doing nothing. You get what I'm saying?
No, I get you.
I owe them this fight, and I want to jump back into it because I don't want to ring rust either. I don't want to get that because I hate getting that nervous feeling when the bell rings and I'm like a deer in headlights. Like people say like, oh, you're so confident in the ring, but really I'm scared every time freaking fight starts. I'm scared for my freaking life. But mainly with the 29th though it's my pro debut, but I'm still an amateur. Like I'm an amateur fighting a pro. You get what I'm saying?
No, I understand that. Yeah. That's pretty. Yeah, let's go. Hey, I know. I get that. I get that. I feel like every athlete that's had that, experience. I know my coach used to do for us in high school. Actually, he had us race the best of the best when we were novices. So we would always be like, "Yo, we could win this race against other freshmen. Why are you not putting this?" And he's like, "Nah." And we would get our asses handed to. I'm not saying that you get your ass handed to you. But it's like iron sharpens iron, and it's got to happen. So for you to take this leap into this guy who's already had some MMA fights on his belt, this is great. And I know you're doing it for the fans, but I feel like for yourself as well, I feel like this is going to be an amazing opportunity, man. So, we wish you well, bro, 100%. And if you got anything else, if you want to, enlighten us on anything else, or if you got anything else you want to shout out, please do. Unless Cory has a question. I'm sorry.
No, I'll just add to that. Like, I'm excited for this. This is like something cool to see you make some steps, man. Like, I'm excited for this fight.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm excited for it. I'm gladly taking my time with it because
I bet.
The reality sunk in, like, dude, I'm actually fighting a pro. I'm fighting a pro freaking athlete right here. It's something you gotta sit down and like rationalize real fast. Like, yeah, your nerves are saying like, dude, you're crazy. What are you doing? Then at the same time, the excitement is hitting me. Like, this is the fight. This is the make or break. And at the same time, it's not about winning or losing to me. It's about performance. If I put on a good fight, regardless winning or losing, I mean, people will like that. People's like, hey, I want to see this guy again. I don't care if he lost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. Oh, dude, we're excited for you, man. I
was just gonna say, what's the family reactions?
It's a little tough, but they support me the whole way. At the end of the day, they're good. They've always been good to me, and they support me the whole way.
Yeah,
100.
But like I said, my training has been very consistent. I even see my body changing again. Like, I'm getting back into my old amateur body, and it was like, this is
wow.
It brings memories, brings like a throwback, because I was never in shape before. I've been in this good shape in like 5 years.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, man.
I was gonna ask. So, how can people watch this, or is this like how does that work?
Now, what sucks about it though is it's an early promotion. It's a just starting promotion, so it's all gonna be walk-in. It's in person only, but I'm gonna see if I can get a live stream going, and I'm also see if I can get the fight videotaped. Because if they don't video fight and I can't buy a copy, I'll just videotape it, and then I'll post it on my channel.
Word. Let's shout out your channel. Let's shout out your Instagram. Let's get you shouted out.
Yes. My channel is the Fair Player on YouTube. It's now it's a little more popular because people are subscribing. I appreciate all the support of everyone. And my Instagram is fairplay_2496. I'll be consistent with the training. I'll keep it posted, keep my reels up because I want to stay consistent because I owe it to you guys. I owe it to everyone. So,
hey, fair play. Corey's getting a little nice now at the interviewing. Since last time you saw him, that was his first ever interview. And now, he's doing all right. I'm proud of him. He's doing better. Don't you? Would you say?
A wee bit better.
Well, you guys always y'all always come on. Y'all come on as amazing hosts every time. So, like I said, I appreciate the invite. I appreciate y'all having me on. Overall,
appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, no, dude, and we appreciate you, bro.
For you.
Oh yeah, we're some of your biggest cheerleaders, both probably physically and just just.
Hey, it means a lot, man. Seriously, I mean, like I said, it's not, even though it's a one-on-one. It's like I said, it's not just me in the fight. Like I get, you get hit, you get knocked out. That's your subconscious telling you to shut down. But I'm not gonna ever have quit in my heart because at the end of the day, I think of you guys. I think of my corner. I think of my coaches. I think of everyone that got me to where I am today. Like, because it's not about me anymore. It's about everyone else. So quitting is selfish. I would never quit.
Word. Well, stay hard, my friend. I'm quoting David Goggins there. Stay hard. Keep it up. Fair play. The 29th of January, Fair Play has his first MMA fight. Cory, you got anything else you want to say to the people?
Yeah, give him a hell of a show, man. Give him a hell of a show.
Gonna have to.
100. Well, it's been What's Out with our boy Fair Play. Thank you, Fair Play. We out. Peace.
Be safe.
Be safe.